folks, I want to welcome you to the very first Peace, Love, Joy, and Bliss Transformation Show. I'm very excited to do this show. I'm very excited because I have lined up some amazing, absolutely spectacular people to come on the show. They are visionaries, they are healers, they are practitioners, so many things. I can't even limit them for what they are. So you'll just have to come join us every week here in Facebook. It's live, of course, so you'll get to interact with me and my guests every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. And first of all, if you haven't already, we would love for you to share this post so your friends can join us and chat with us, because we've got an amazing guest tonight. I'm going to talk about him here in a minute. And of course, the other big thing is this show is 100% live and we can interact with you. Come in the chat with us and interact with us. And then, depending on time and how the flow goes, we may even take some live calling callers. So let me get started with Ken. Ken Elliott is an award-winning author and artist who has been showcased on media all over the world. Ken has learned how to manifest items both big and small, first creating his desires on the other side and watching those thoughts take form in our physical world. Ken is living a life that many call magical and miraculous. Over the last 20 plus years, Ken has been teaching others these simple techniques so they can create the life that they desire. So please, everyone in the chat, I want you to show some love, give me some likes, give me some whatever, some wows. But what I want you to do is I'm going to bring on Ken. And Ken, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Ken, you're very welcome. You are very, very welcome.
Thank you.
And Ken, as you know, we talked in the pre-show that I am very excited to have you on the show with me tonight because you are my very first guest. And so thank you. Thank you for being the guinea pig.
We're going to make an appropriate start.
Yes, we are. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Yes, because we are talking about manifesting tonight. We're talking about manifestations. We're talking about manifesting relationships because the show, of course, we talk about relationships on here, but we're also, the big picture is we're talking about manifesting. So Kim, if you would, give us a little bit more background, from you.
Okay. Let me just start this right off with a very, very high bar. I'll offer that we have three great gifts.
Okay.
Number one, we have the gift of life. Number two, we can create life. And number three, we can create anything. Now, we know a lot about the first two, but we don't know a lot about the third one. And a lot of it is speculation. So we've heard about vision boards and wish lists and the law of attraction, all of that. And what all of that is best practices. People have gotten together and they've compared notes. And if we do this and this and this as best we know how, it will increase our chances of manifesting something. What you're going to hear today is actually how manifesting works. Exactly how it works. And once you know how it works, you won't let it go. I had someone suggest I do a raise of hands at a big meeting. There were 250 people there. And so I put the question out, how many people have not seen The Secret or read the book? And out of about 250, well, it's about 200 people, about a dozen people raised their hands. They'd never heard of The Secret. And then I said to the same 200-ish people, Now, of all of you who know about the secret and the law of attraction, all of this sort of manifesting information that's been out there for years, how many people are still doing this every day? And you know what? Only about a dozen people raise their hands. Now, if you know positively how this works, you're going to keep your hand raised. And that's what we're going to do tonight. You're going to hear some information you've never heard before, and it's going to underpin everything that's ever been created, unless it happened by accident or was an act of God or nature. You can create anything, and off we go.
That's awesome, Ken. And Ken, let me ask you, how did you get started with this?
I ducked that question, didn't I? I wasn't really ducking it, but I wanted to put that out there first.
You bet.
I was just a regular guy, and we all have issues. We all have a box of tissues, you know. And I was at the bottom on something that was really bothering me, and I had gone through friends and professionals and this and that. And finally, I elicited the help of an author. I wasn't an author at the time. And I said, I want to know the name of the most gifted psychic, for lack of a better term, in the country. She said, you call Judy Goodman. And I said, well, where does the information come from? She said, it comes from the top. Is that good enough for you? And that kind of scared me. But I called her and we connected up. Turns out we've been friends for a long, long time, you know, in previous lives. So she's been a big help, and she told me to get ready. Things are going to start happening. And I started remembering some pretty profound dreams. I started having paranormal experiences. I started meeting people in the field that are authors and experiencers. And I was starting to get a catalog of some of my own stories and meeting other friends with like experiences and more unusual things. It just started to snowball. And then way, 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 way down the road, I wrote the book, but not before I learned how thought takes form. And we'll get into that later.
Nice. Well, absolutely. And of course, as you mentioned earlier, we are going to give some books away. And this is the book, folks, that we're going to give away. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But Ken, what I want to know, speaking of this book, what makes this book different?
We've been taught to petition the light switch. We'll do ceremonies. We'll put sticky notes up there. We'll go by and touch it. We won't turn it on, but we'll touch it and focus on that light switch. And the more we focus on that, the more we pay attention to that light switch or that toggle on there, we're going to increase the chances of when we hit that switch that something will happen. What no one has experienced and written about, and that's what we're going to talk about, that light switch is hooked up to the power plant. When you hit that switch, you're going to get a result. So we're going to talk about how it's wired up, how thought actually takes form, how it becomes. This isn't airy-fairy. This is not the wishing, hoping program. We're going to make stuff happen. And it's so very, 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 very simple.
That's awesome, Ken. So, and of course, for those of you, if anyone heard my little bell, I have my computer is set, so I apologize, because I have my computer set to ring a bell it's a chime for me to breathe in and breathe out. So if you guys heard the little gonging bells, I hope you were tuned to breathing in and breathing out. Take a deep breath, as Michael Bernard Beck would say, Dr. Beck would say, now take a deep breath. So we'll probably take some deep breaths, because I want you all to take this in tonight, because, you know, I guess Ken Scott's amazing things that we're doing and talking about. So can anyone do this? Is it difficult?
No, even I can do it. And, you know, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not a metaphysical creature. This all just came in on me, and I was just hanging on by my fingernails there for years and telling all my friends about every little story and running half of them away forever and ever. I mean, I was just consumed with all this incoming stuff. But what I learned about the manifesting thing is it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. See, if your thoughts are literally making something all the time, it's like gravity. I'm good at this. I'm really, really good at gravity. And
Right.
everybody is. We don't think about gravity. We don't have to go to school to be good at gravity. Everybody's equally good at gravity. And your thoughts are a natural law like gravity. And if you think of something and you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, I have a crummy life,
Mm,
or you repeat it and you repeat it. I'm hopeful and I love my life. Forget the hopeful. I love my life or I hate my life. You repeat that over and over, your thoughts will build that for you.
mm,
Literally, because thoughts do things very literally. And once we understand this process, it's not a process, it's ongoing all the time, then
right.
you're going to have control over this. When you get up in the morning, the first thing we do, we take a breath. We don't ask permission. It's just there.
Please don't ask permission, folks, to breathe. Breathe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's just there.
Of
And
course.
you don't have to ask permission for your thoughts to work. They're already doing it. And it's
Yes.
that repetition will do it. And later we're going to talk about how gratitude used with this will do it and how to um, work against these worries. Worries are thought.
Yes.
Positive things are a thought. Thoughts will just make whatever you want to do. Gravity doesn't restrict what I'm going to do with this. Gravity won't let me do any. I can throw it. I can put it back down. I can knock it over. Gravity doesn't judge. Gravity just pulls things to the ground. And all thoughts do are make whatever you're thinking, particularly if you're repeating it over and over and over.
Right.
This is going to be so simple, but it's going to change everything for all of us.
Yes. Yes. I like that. And of course, the title of the book, Manifesting 1, 2, 3, and you don't even need number 3. I like that. How'd you come up with that title? And you don't even need number 3, just because it's so simple.
The book wrote itself.
Tell us
I have
about
been,
that, please.
well, I was learning this on the fly. It all started when I first met Judy Goodman. That's the most gifted psychic, the person told me. And a stranger called me after I'd been talking with Judy daily for a while. I just couldn't get enough of the stuff she had. She was just full of info. And I like looking under the hood about what's going on the other side. And she goes the other side every night. And during the day, she sees in spirit continually. She doesn't intuit, she sees it. So she's in touch with the other side 24/7. And I couldn't get enough of that. There's a lot of info to be had.
Yeah.
Not that she would give it to me. I mean, she would give it all away. But I'm a grasshopper here. I'm a student. I didn't get that I'm a student. So I'm learning things. And a stranger called me and said, "I hear you've been talking to Judy a lot. Do you understand who she is? What she is?" Oh, yeah, she's a psychic. Well, oh, no. And she started going through this long list of Judy's abilities. Now, one of these things that she said, and I like ESP, I like psychics, I knew something about that. Yeah. But she put out something I never heard of before. She said, if you send her something in thought, she'll get it. And I went, what? What do you mean? She said, Judy had a birthday last year, and she sent Judy a bouquet of flowers. Now, Judy's out in the Caribbean. She doesn't know the hotel room or the number of the room. She simply sent Judy something in thought, a bouquet of flowers, called Judy the next day, and Judy described the bouquet that she received. Now, Judy could see it in spirit. If you and I walked in the hotel room, we wouldn't see it. But Judy's gifted enough to not only see the bouquet, but know who it came from. She knew who it came from. And so I decided I would try that. And I got her permission. She had a birthday coming up. If you want me to, I'll go into this story.
Ken, I absolutely do want you to go into the story. You bet.
Okay. This is a whopper. This is a proof of concept.
Yes.
And it took a whopper to get my attention, frankly. I was
And don't you find that that's how it usually works for us? Sometimes it takes that whopper for us to really get it.
Yeah. And it's better than being hurt. In the heart, it's better than getting into an accident. I'd rather have a story than a catastrophe.
Yeah.
But it had to be a pretty big one to get my attention. So, all right, I don't know what to do. I'm going to send her something in thought. I talked to her and I said, okay, I'm going to, if tomorrow's your birthday, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to send you something in thought. She said, all right, what are you going to do? Well, I don't know. I'm going to think about it really, really hard and send it to you. So here's her instruction. She said, Don't take a lot of time on this. Give it a couple of seconds. You don't have to visualize this thing. Get some simple object and send it to me. And by the way, and this is important, but it's a subtlety, which I completely did not get. She said, you're going to send me a gift. So you're going to have this thought. And because it's a gift, it's going to come out from the heart and off to me. I'm going to get it every time. I didn't know what she was talking about. I didn't know what that meant. So I got up the next morning. Remember the heart thing? I'm already off of that. I'm going to cram this thing. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to get an A on this thing because my friend did it. I can do it. I really don't know what to do other than just concentrate on it really hard. So I'm going to get a simple object. It's going to be a yellow rose, a cut rose, and a simple silver vase. No filigree, just a simple silver vase with a rose in it. And I give it about 3 or 4 seconds, and I just send it off. And that's not good enough for me. Now I'm sending it and thinking about it and cramming on this thing and jamming it and the rose and the face and I let it go. Then I went to work. This was in the morning, and I was worthless at work because every time I turned around, I was like, the rose and the base and the da-da-da, And I went back home, and I jammed on this thing some more, and then I called Judy. So she's in her office. She picks up the phone. And this was the phrase that I did for almost 15 years. I did this a lot, and she got it 100% of the time. And I said, did you get the thing I sent? And she said, well, hang on. It's my birthday, and there's a lot of people on the other side that they know it's my birthday, and they've sent me gifts. So my study is full of gifts in spirit. Now, there's some people here in this world, in the physical world, and they have sent me gifts too. So I'm looking at all those as well. Don't bother to send Judy's gifts. She has open door policy for certain people and so many layers of fences you won't get in. But I was able to get in because I had the permission slip. She said, your gift is right here up front.
Nice.
And it sounded kind of sentimental, and I didn't care about that. I want to know what she got. And so I said ask again, so what did you get? She said, was it your intention to send me a rose? And I got choked. I kind of flipped out a little bit. I lost it. I've seen this on television, but when it happens to you, it's kind of and I said, yeah. She said, was it your intention to send me a yellow rose? I just couldn't believe it. I said, yeah. She said, well, that's not what I got. What? She said, look, this is pretty important stuff here. This whole thing is going to be important, but this is a great demonstration. Now, the first time out of the box, I don't know what I'm doing. I had some instruction. I pretty much ignored it. I just did what I was going to do, just really working this hard. She said, someone has embellished your gift.
Okay.
I went like, what? What do you mean? She said, what I'm looking at is a rose that's been dipped in gold, and it's all aglow. She said, I'm having to play 1-800-PSYCHIC to guess, really, that there's a yellow rose in there with the gold on it. It was a good guess. And I said, well, what do you mean embellished it? Because I certainly didn't do this dipped in gold business. And I said, no, wait a minute. We talked about thought, and I'm not going to get into quantum here. The scientists don't understand this fully, but thoughts happen instantly. That's what Judy was saying, and that's common wisdom, or it's the what we think about thought in the metaphysical circles. Instantly, anywhere, not restricted in time and space. And I said, all right, so I sent you this thought, which is instantaneous, much faster than the speed of light, instantaneous. And somebody could get their hands around this thing and do something with it? She said, yeah. I said, well, who could do that? She said, some big guy. I said, what do you mean, big guy? And I'm going to preface this. This is not the Donna and Ken Holy Roller Jesus show here, okay?
It's not, folks.
It's not. But things... I have a lot of those kind of stories, but it's not in a religious sense. It's not an organized religious sense. And And what I'm about to say is not predicated on what you can do. It just happened. There's this interloper, this big guy interloper. There's a good term, right? And I said, what do you mean? Some big guy. She said, JC. I said, like Jesus, big guy, JC? She said, yeah. Well, yeah, I can't put my arms around that. I'm not going to jump in on that one, you know? And in fact, there's a lot of people that would be, oh my God, yeah, thanks for this and all that. There's a very serious side of me that's trying to get under the wall to wall carpet because, oh my God, Santa Claus is really watching what you're doing. This is like a double revelation. There's some good news, bad news going on here, I think. And so I was a little flipped. And she said, yeah, he could do that. That's what he did. He wanted to get in on this. He knew we were going to do this the first day. He wanted to get in on this. So there are people that get the book, and I tell them about manifesting. You think of things, and they start to take form. We'll get into that later. And, there's that book right there. And you can buy it as a paperback. You can get it as an audio book that I read as a download. There's lots of ways you can get it. It's all up on the website, manifesting123.com. So I'm just kind of stunned by all of this, but I successfully sent this rose in a vase at a distance of 2,100 miles, somewhere between breakfast and lunch. And that was quite a thing. So I continued to do that. And in the chapter, you'll love it in the book, there's a chapter called The Rose and the Duck. I just gave you the rose story. The one with the duck is really cool. So later, I would, if I was with Judy in the room, or another friend of mine, Patty Conklin, who can also is sensitive enough to see thought take form. Very few people can do this. I could sit with Patty while Judy's lecturing, and I would fabricate pots of tulips in front of the stage in spirit where Judy's speaking. And I'd lean over to Patty and say, do you see what I'm doing in front of the stage? She said, yeah, purple flowers. Right, she can see these appear on the other side. The bottom line here, if you keep repeating this stuff, these people can see it happen on the other side. You stay with it, it will come over the physical world, and we'll get into that a little more. But
and that was
a regular thing.
That was going to be my question, Ken, are we able to, is practice a good word? Are we able to practice and practice so that we can communicate with each other? Can we communicate with people on the other side? I have a twin sister, and I know Deb and I can do the whole thought thing.
Yeah.
We've done that over the years. And I like to think that I can do that with people, and is it the same thing, Ken, that when you're thinking of someone, then they call you? Same thing?
There's a piece of that. It's thought, making connections between people. It's not manifesting an object. It's making a connection with another thoughtful person. Now, if you're turned off, you're too busy watching Batman 6 or something, you're not going to get the message. Well, maybe you could. And you can ask, you can manifest. When I say ask me, you can pray. You can make a wish list. You can make a vision board. You can pray. They heard you the first time. We like to just, run it up the flagpole over and over and over. They're pretty smart. They got it. But we are also free to create with our own minds.
Yes.
And on that notion, I don't know what the limits are. When you think of everything that's ever been invented in this world,
yes,
it was a puff of smoke first. And get into that discreetly. A thought will actually take form, and you repeat it, it will get so solid, so 3D, it'll come over the physical world. It may tie in with other people, and teams are made, and skyscrapers go up. Those aren't singular thoughts, but it started with an idea. And that idea actually can be seen by very gifted people on the other side. Judy has called me before. She said, that internet business thing you're thinking about, I've watched that thing. You've been building that thing over there, and now it's going away. It's disintegrating. Do you care about it anymore? So I don't. We can't protect it. It was too expensive to keep the hackers out of this idea. Someone let it go. We'll do something else. She
Wow.
said it was getting very close to being reality. I said, let it go. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not manifesting anymore. It's going to go back to nothing, and that's fine. You can form things up, things go away. So where this started was one of these people that I met, an author. His name is William Buhlman, Buhlman.
Yes.
He's the foremost out of body author in the West. And he's got books in, I think, up to 9 languages now. So
Wow.
he taught me and countless others how to go the other side. And you don't have to get in a car wreck to do it. This is not hard. And check him out, William Buhlman. Get the books. So I started doing his website. He needed some help with this and that. And so I had access to these 10,000 letters that he had from all over the world with people that are spontaneously going to the other side or doing it on purpose. So I knew a lot about that, and I had a little success with that on purpose, which is, wow, it's pretty empowering to go the other side and get a look around.
Yeah.
It's big over there. Very cool. This seems kind of like 3rd grade by comparison, but this is what we've got. This is what we've got, and let's get an A in that. So he'd given a lecture or something, and we're having lunch, and he made this offhand comment that just rocked me. He said, sometimes when I go out of body, I see this place, and everything that's on my wish list, I might have 10 items. I can see everything on my wish list, something I put on yesterday, or it's been there for months. I can see it on the other side, just lined up over there in various stages of formation. Now, everybody just lean forward and listen to this really carefully, because this is truly a key to the universe. Remember, we have life, we can create life, and we can make anything, and here's how that make anything happens. So I said, what do you mean? Because I'm really smart about this stuff. I said, what are you talking about? He said, if I've had something on the wish list for a short period of time, what is it? You want to get 4 tires for the car. And that's been on the wish list for only 2 weeks, and I look at that every day, and I touch it, 4 tires for the car. I looked, when he was over there, he said, there's this puff of smoke. It looks like vapor. It doesn't look like tires, but there might be 10 things. One of these 10 things is just this vaporous form. But on the other side, you have a knowing about what that represents. It's the 4 tires. Now, there's something else that's been on there. Maybe he needs a new refrigerator. And that's been on there for about 6 weeks or so. The next thing he sees on the other side is this semi-transparent ghost refrigerator thing. It's got the form. You can see it, but it's not very discreet. But it's definitely the form of a refrigerator. Now, here's another one. He wants to, and he did this, he wants to go to China. And he put on his wish list. He didn't want to just visit China. He wants to live in China for 2 years. Now, the first time he did a wish list, he told me all this stuff, and it all happened. And he called me up again. And he said, I'm making a second wish list. And the very first thing was, I'm going to live in China for 2 years. And I just, we're guys, so I can say, that's kind of crazy, man. Yeah, you think you could, what I'm trying to say, you think he'd make that happen, or you just like nuts? You want to live in China? You're married, remember? How's this going to come out? How are you going to pay for this? What are you going to do for your house? What about the dog and the cat? What about how are you going to do that? So if he put that on the list and say it's been on there for a number of weeks, and this did happen for him, he would be into that place, and here's all these things on the list, and here's this China. He can start seeing Chinese architecture form up.
Oh.
And within a few weeks, his wife, who worked for General Motors, comes home and says, honey, I've got an offer to go overseas. What do you think about going overseas? She says, well, where to? She said, China. I'm cool with that.
Right.
It's a couple of years. Yeah, I'm good with that. All expenses paid, move, boom, everything's taken care of. He was in China more than 2 years, if I recall. He kissed the ground when he came back. He didn't know he was eating. He didn't know he was breathing. But he manifested China.
Wow.
Living in China, which is like upside down, impossible. But he could see these things taking form over there. And I'll never forget what he said. I don't know if he used the word in the book, but he said, if I put it on that list, even for a short period of time, and I go back and look at that list, or if it were a vision board, or if I just think about it every day, he said, I can wash it, form up. And he said, I'd be an idiot not to do this.
Hmm.
An idiot. So what did I do? I'm not an idiot. Well, I didn't do anything with that. I didn't do a darn thing with it.
What?
I called Judy Goodman to check it out because she's over there all the time. I said, William, she knows William. So William told me about when you think of something, it starts to take form. It's a puff of smoke and it gets more 3D and solid color, full color 3D, and it comes over. So yeah, that's how it works. I said, you never told me. So you never asked. You know?
Why we have to ask, right? Always ask.
Well, she's not going to sit there and give you the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? I mean, she has life. And why would she anyway? I'm such a pumpkin head. I'm not going to get 2/3 of it anyway, apparently. So now I have this confirmation from Judy and William about how thought works. Now, this is a tremendously important thing. The people that write all the manifesting books, and I support all of the manifesting books, I support people asking and praying, wishing and hoping and writing on the wall and writing on the list, whatever. Get the tattoo if you like. I support all of that. But I've never read or anyone experienced how it actually works. We're petitioning the light switch. These are best practices, approaches. Some people charge a lot of money for this. We go to workshops for a long time, this and that. That's fine. That's fine. It's just layers of intention, layers of intention, layers of intention. We'll get the job done.
Yes.
And that's what I'm doing. I was just cramming that, that yellow rose. And if I did it over days and days and days, you get the same result. So even though William and Judy told me about this thing, I still didn't act on it. And I'll tell you why. William has written a book. He's an important guy. Mm-hmm. Judy's very, very gifted. She's more better than me, right? So I sat back. I literally had the keys to the universe, and I did nothing with it. So coming way back to your question, I began to talk to people about this a little bit, just conversationally. Then somebody said, you need to see The Secret. And I saw that DVD, and I flipped out. Because there were all these people, there's all these people came in there talking about all these different approaches to get a result. And I'm listening to all this, and I went, oh my God, I waited till the whole thing was over. And I thought to myself, holy cow, I get what they're talking about, but they never told us how it works. If you think about it, it starts to form this vapor. That makes a difference. If I'm manifesting something, if I'm petitioning the light switch, and sometimes I turn it on, it works, and sometimes I turn it on, it doesn't work.
Right.
I may just give up on the light switch thing. But if somebody tells me it's hardwired to the power company, and the only way it doesn't work is if the power's cut, then I'm going to stay with this thing, even when it doesn't work, because I know it's going to get hardwired. So once you know how manifesting truly works, it's repetition, and we're going to talk about gratitude. Don't let it go. Don't let it go. You go up to the elevator, you push the button once, it's on the way.
You keep pushing that button.
It's not changing anything. It's on the way the first time. Yeah,
that's true. Ken, I have to ask, do we need to, when we're manifesting, when we're asking,
yes,
do we need help from the other side?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Pray for help. Yeah, you can pray for help. If you've got something in your life,
guides, angels,
fine. Yeah, but you don't need it. You don't need it. Here's another way of saying this very, very directly. You're responsible. You have all the tools you need.
Yes.
We came down here. We have all these guys and this and that. But you know what? You can manifest anything. So if there's something that is not working for you in your life, you can manifest a way out of it. Now, we're all going to die of something. We'll call that destiny. There are some people we're going to meet, or they're a twin, or the one that might as well be that, right? We're going to have a certain experience. We'll call that a destiny. We're going to come down here with proclivities, talents, and things that we trip on, Someone's going to like to smoke. Someone's going to like to drink. Someone's like to yell at people. Someone's like to do good things, and the whole mix. we'll call that destiny. And here's a big piece of pie. And I think that destiny is not a very big piece of that. And all the rest of this, we get to control. And if you're living in a place like the United States of America, which has what the economy is running like something like $10 trillion, then there's a lot of ways to live comfortably, or the equivalent of comfortably. It's not always about money.
Right.
We're not in Syria. Boy, that reeks of destiny or just bad luck, right? But I pray to God that everybody has to be in that tough spot of the world, wherever they are. It's a tough spot of the world.
Yes.
But we have a lot of wiggle room wherever we are. You can create anything. There's no one stopping you. And in the book, I hate the example, but it's a good one. Hitler gets up one day in 1939 and says, I'm going to invade Poland, and nobody stopped him. Well, I'll put it this way. 100,000 angels didn't stop his army at the border.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Wild Wild West down here. It was allowed. And if you want to get your bills paid, fine. If you want to have a beautiful career, fine. If you want to do what you're here to do, fine. If you want to be fulfilled and happy, have that partner. A partner could take a lot of forms.
Right.
It could be a best friend. It could be that love of your life. It could be a lot of things. You could be your own best partner.
Yes. So, Ken,
yeah.
I'm just going to jump in here with that because,
Okay.
when we think about manifesting, and so I want you to really talk to us because you kind of touched on something. If you are manifesting your partner, okay, now you talked about the list, and we haven't talked about movies, which is in the book. There's a chapter on movies, and I'm sure, Ken, you'll talk a little bit about that. But let's go back to that person that we want to manifest.
Okay, well, let's put them all together.
Okay, and do we want to manifest him? And he's got to be 6'5", and he's got to have black hair, curly. He's got to have a great job with a great car. Can we do all of that, or are we shooting ourselves in the foot when are we missing out on the person that can come to us because we're waiting for the package, the Tiffany package of what we absolutely have to have?
Right. Well, how many times does somebody drag you to a restaurant? You want to go, you have your own favorite restaurant, but you go there anyway, and they say, you need to try this dish. It's fantastic. Well, I don't really like that. Here, have a bite of mine. And you go, oh my God.
Right.
You would have never thought of that. So the number one of manifesting 1, 2, 3 is that movie concept. Everybody's good at a movie. Nobody flunks watching a movie unless you're just too tired to watch it and fall asleep. So we're going to imagine the things that we're going to manifest. Now, here's an incredible bonus. Your thoughts can make the future.
Yes.
Your thoughts can create a future. So if you're going to be smart, be efficient. Let's not buy a train ticket from LA to New York and have to be on the train for 5 days and make 700 stops or something. So we're going to manifest a future. We're standing in LA, but we're going to go, in my future, I'm in New York. Now, I didn't specify how I got there. I'm in New York. I love New York, and I'm standing at the top of the Empire State Building, and I don't have to worry about the time away or the money to get to New York to have this wonderful vacation or time. So you can manifest that future and you say, I'm in my future.
Mm-hmm.
This is your movie. This is a scene in your movie. I'm in my future, and in my future, I'm in New York, and I'm looking from the top of the Empire State Building. And here's something special. I'm so very grateful.
Yes.
Now, I can repeat the thought. I don't even have to have the imagery down very well, but I can repeat the thought that I'm in the Empire State Building. I can feel the bars that hold me back. I can feel the floor under me. I can imagine the sounds of the people in the Empire State Building. I don't even have to see it. I can use other senses. Now, when I add gratitude to that, it magnifies that thought. If you use one of the two great powers of the universe, love or fear, and let's define another way, gratitude or worry, and you put those behind a thought, it will make it more efficient and put it together quicker. So this is as smart as you can do it. You have a seat in your movie. I'm in my future. And in my future, I'm sitting on the couch and my perfect partner
Yes.
sits next to me and I feel the couch cushion go over a little bit. And I pat him or her on the leg. Do not look at your partner because then you're going to specify redhead or the specification you gave. Now, there are 7 billion people on the planet.
Yes.
3.5 of those are the gender you're going for, right? 3.5 billion. So let's not just cut it down to redheads.
Right.
Let's
right.
not cut it down to 6'1", right?
5.
You,
6'5".
you want the one that is perfect for you. Now, what does that mean?
Yes. Yes.
You know, I've got big ears. I got a little wrinkle here, a little red, salt and pepper here, and I get a pass. And she's got this funny little thing up here and a funny little crooked laugh, and I just think it's charming as heck. We're perfect. It's perfect that way, and it's okay. So you know, you go into your movie, and what you're asking for is the dish that thrills you.
Yes.
It's the career. It's that you don't have to worry about financial concerns. You have perfect health.
Yes.
You know, yada 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 yada. So it's all very cool. Now you just put that in your movie, it will build it. Now you're 14 years old, you want a Maserati. Oh boy. All right. So you're manifesting, you know, you have a Maserati. Now what's going to happen? There's a thing called the equivalent of Maserati. There's a thing that's called the equivalent of money.
Okay.
The equivalent of the perfect partner. So this kid may end up with a Maserati poster. Maybe some uncle somewhere buys one and he gets to ride it every once in a while. He doesn't have a license, but he can get behind the wheel. He can go zoom, zoom. He can play the radio, right? So that's all pretty cool. So with this perfect partner business, and don't trip up on the perfect partner. It could be the one you're waiting for.
Yes.
But perfect is perfect for you in that partner. What can happen in the interim, talking about this, and I woke up with this one morning. I'm manifesting the perfect partner. One morning I woke up because in my future, I'm with my perfect partner and I pat her leg on the couch. And I've been doing this for, months and months and months. I woke up one morning and I realized as soon as I woke, I would never be lonely again. I didn't ask for that. And I wasn't terribly lonely at all. I mean, it'd come up every once in a while, but it wasn't a big thing. But I knew it happened. And by the way, I knew it was permanent. And there are other people who called me and they woke up and they no longer have stress. They're handling stress in a whole new way. Yes. One person who hasn't been happy in a long time said, I woke up happier than I've ever been since high school. They're going into their future, and in their future, they have all these things. They're all happy things. Why in the heck would you take your poo-poo caca and put it in the seat in your future? You don't do that. If you have something that's bothering you, right. The idea is you have a scene where that thing doesn't exist.
Right.
And your thoughts are going to work on it.
Right. Or at least stop doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You're not going to kill people off. You're not going to send them to Mars. There's a lot of ways this can happen. There was the person who had the barking dog, bark, 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 bark. And it's, oh my God, I hate that. I can manifest this barking dog problem. She was smart enough to say, I'm in my future and the barking dog is no longer a concern for me. Now that's a big picture way of getting this thing solved. The other big picture way of going to that ideal partner is you don't see who it is, but my gosh, you just love each other. You have a long and healthy, happy life together. You're wonderful for each other, and you just love being in the room in your future with your perfect partner. These people had all these things in their future, and of course they didn't have any stress. Of course they were happy, and they woke up with this, even though they didn't specify it, because it was part of the future. It's amazing that your thoughts will build those things.
Yes.
And I just watch that happen. If people go up to that website, I'll give it out. It's www.manifesting123.com and sign up for the newsletter because people send me stories and every Friday I put them out. on a newsletter. And you can go in there to the story page, and there are over 200 stories, some very small, some majestically large, and people just thought this stuff up and watched it happen. So another partner question or relationship question?
Well, and before we go into that, let's just make an announcement that please bring your questions for Ken. Okay, because we're talking about manifesting, and he's giving some great ideas on manifesting. And I want you to, if you have questions, get in here. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect opportunity. We have him here right now. Come on, folks, manifest your question and put it in the chat. I will, so I can see it, and then put it up, and we can answer that question for you. Ken, I have another question for you. So about worrying.
Yes.
If we are constantly worrying, are we worrying ourselves in the future as well? Unconsciously? Does that make sense?
Well, let's forget about that part. Let's make it uncomplicated.
Okay.
If you are worried about that pain in your knee, or this bill that's coming due, we'll make it a pain in the knee. I always pick another part of my body.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts. It's 3 a.m. I'm thinking about this all the time.
Right.
You know, if I have a thought and I repeat it, it's taking form. If I put either, and we're looking at these questions too. Yeah, if I put either gratitude or worry about it, if I put love or fear behind it, then it will accelerate the building of the thought. So if I'm focusing on this knee and I'm talking about this, you know, the bill's being paid or the knee or the bad boss, whatever it is, whatever I focus on over and over and over and over, it's taking form, and my friends can watch it take form. They can even tell you what state it's in. It's about to come. I've had a call. It's coming over tomorrow, and it's not good news, Ken. I took care of that. No, you did not, and it's happening tomorrow, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't stop it. And I manifested a bad result. So it's the knee thing. So this is the number 2, the 1, 2, 3. Worries, which is the same thing as fear. You have a repetitive thought, and you're putting fear behind it. So what can we do about that? This is the best. I can't say, go get drunk, forget about it. You know, just go off planet. We need to handle this. We got to turn this thing around as best we know how. So. Yes. So the idea is take action on that worry. Take action on that thought. Now, what does that mean? It's the bad knee. Get a list, get the phone. 9 o'clock in the morning, you're going to call the doctor. You're going to make an action list. You're going to call the doctor at 9 o'clock in the morning, make an appointment about that knee. If it's a job, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to call the boss. I'm going to think of some reasons why I'm more valuable to the company. I'm going to ask for a raise. Oh, I hate that. But that's one thing I can do. Another thing I can do, if it's the knee thing, anybody in my family, I'll call the family. Is this something in the family? I'll go up to a reliable place, the Mayo Clinic on the web. I'll get some information about knees. But I'm going to go to the doctor. Now, if I wake up and that thing doesn't hurt me anymore, oh, hooray, miracle, fine. But if that thing's still hurting me, instead of making it worse with my thoughts, remember, I can make a trip to China.
Right.
I can create all kinds of things. I don't want to trick up the knee. Then I'll have a list of action items. Can you do them all in one day? Can you call the boss? Can you get a mentor? Can you run one ads for a new job? Can you do all that one day? Probably not. But you run the list, at a boy, at a girl, and you go to your future to take care of this. In your future, this issue doesn't happen. That's all you can do for the day. Okay. That's all you can do for the day. If you find yourself worrying about it again, go back to the action. Is there anything else I could do? Well, then don't make a big deal out of it. You'll check with the doctor tomorrow. There's nothing else to do today. That helps. That didn't make it go away. Still got the worry, but you're not going to focus it on your need.
Right.
You're going to back it off a little bit. So that's the number 2 of the 1, 2, 3. You're going to take action on those worries and stop directly building those and loading it up with fear and making it do so ever more efficiently. So somebody, what other questions you got there?
So we've got some great questions, and I'm
Okay.
going to lump Georgia's question in there along
Okay.
with Jim's question because they're
Okay.
both asking about time. Jim is asking how long does it usually take for you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make it broad for the rest of us as well. And then Georgia wants to know if we're putting something out consistently for years.
Yes.
Um, know in your heart that it's going to happen. How long does it take? So time. Talk to us about
Okay.
time and
All right.
manifestation.
I've had certain things that have been out there for almost 3 years, and I have seen results in indirect ways. Remember, like the perfect partner. I woke up
Yes.
and I knew I'd never be lonely again. So by default, I guess I'm my perfect partner. That's not an egotistical thing, but as it stands right now, I'm fine with me. I'm not needy for a partner, but I'm still putting it out there. So I've been years on that. And I don't feel like I've been neglected because I have learned on the job with this. I'm hopefully a little more polished up than I used to be, a little better behaved. So maybe I'm more eligible for this high bar that I'm trying to manifest. I've got
Mm-hmm.
to hit the bar too, right? I've got to go where I'm trying to go. So maybe I could use a little work. In fact, I know I could. So that's good. Now, there's other things that can happen very quickly. I know someone who has been wanting to relocate for about 2 or 3 years, and yesterday mentioned it again, and in a little more than 24 hours, I can't even speak to it right now, but a miraculous thing happened, and that has been taken care of in an extravagant way. And this person is not out of pocket a dime for this to happen. So it's equivalent about,
Yeah.
okay, so here's the house, sign here, and pay us so much, but you just pay us what you've been paying for the other place. But it's a huge upgrade. Now, how could that happen? It's not possible. That she's been on and off of that thing for a couple of years, but she stated it yesterday, and I got her to quantify it in a very casual way, and something just tipped over. It just happened just before the show. Um, I've seen things happen almost instantly, but a lot of these things take weeks or months.
Okay.
When I have things in my future, I don't say it because I don't want to limit it, but I
Right.
feel like it's within a 2 year envelope. Now, when you need some bills paid, when
Right.
you need that need taken care of, you need things to happen fast. Uh, I often see that these things get taken care of within that time frame.
Okay. And and that was the question for Sony. Sony is asking, I would love to manifest. Is that 10,000? Yes. She would love
Yeah,
to manifest. Me too. I
yeah,
don't, can we, Ken, you know what, Ken? So everyone that's in the chat tonight,
yes.
is it possible for us to manifest $10,000 one way or another?
That's not what I would wish for you.
Okay. Would you wish a million?
Because
What are you wishing for me? I'll take it.
I would wish that all your bills and expenses that you can clearly see your future,
Yes.
and you can clearly see that all of your bills and expenses are paid decades in advance and
Ooh.
definitely forward. Now, virtually everybody here online has been paying their bills on time for decades already. And yeah, you missed one here and there, but we're not delinquent about this. We pretty much pay all our bills. We've been doing it for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, right?
Right, right.
Let's manifest some more of that. You've already
Okay.
been, there's no BS factor in this one. You've already been doing that. So let's be smart and do that. In your future, you can clearly see that this is going on. And in your next seeing, and by the way, you're so grateful.
Yes.
I'm so grateful that I can clearly see my bills and expenses are paid decades in advance and definitely forward. What does that look like? I don't know. It doesn't have to be a lottery. It doesn't have to be anything that has anything to do with money. I just saw that happen today.
Mm.
It had nothing to do with hundreds of
Yes.
thousands of dollars. That check will never be written by the person who received. That check will never be written. It had nothing to do with money. It was nothing but heart to heart that made
Mm.
that happen. And she had to go have a sit down in gratitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I watched that happen. I was there in the room that happened. And I'm not saying, are you kidding me? I just watched it happen. And afterward, I said, you need to sit down and just Relax. You had a good day at the office.
Take it all in.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So in your future, here's another one. In my future, I want to answer that universe question that just came up. In my future, finances are no longer a concern for me. They're a
Yes.
tool. That's the kind of thinking where I'm going. And if you can improve on that, let me know.
Right.
I've been tweaking this as I go. So I'm trying to be less and less limited. So my future, we're always worried about money or the equivalent of money. Financials are not a concern for me. They're a
That's
tool.
nice.
Now, I
like
flipped
that.
it on its head. I can use financials to do things for other people. I don't have to worry about me. Did Mother Teresa have a checkbook that she carried around? Probably not. And she flew first class.
Right.
She was a jet setter. She probably flew better and ate better than Mick Jagger when she was in the air, right? Yeah, she didn't have started out, man. She was working for a heart. She was doing what she was here to do, and it had the equivalent of being paid for. She did not have financial concerns, and she was trying to do what she was here to do. Now, here's the thing about the universe. We got 2 minutes, so I'll take one of them. The universe. When we say the universe, a lot of people think God.
Right.
I'm going to offer. We didn't go to lunch and talk about this. I'm going to offer that God has already allowed you to make anything you want to make.
Yes.
And you have the tools to do it. So people say, well, I'm waiting on the universe. I'm waiting on the universe. Well, the universe is going to show me this and that. I think the responsibility is on us. You got a little red toolbox and just open up and sit down and make whatever you want to make. You don't have to wait for anybody. You don't have to wait for anybody. You have the tools to do it on your own.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So I think you automatically answered Amy's question because she was talking about the universe. Let's see here. Okay, both Deborah and Amy were wondering about the universe, and you talked about that. And so, folks, I do want to just offer that the beautiful thing about this program is the replay will be up immediately. So if you missed something, you need to go back and listen to it. Definitely, please do that. And of course, the book here is Manifesting 1, 2, 3, and you don't even need number 3. So I'm going to encourage you to get this book. And Ken, I'm sure in the future, you've got a lot of things coming up in the future, along with your book and workshops and webinars and beautiful things like that. And so I'm excited. I'm excited about that. And let's see here. Gloria, let me ask you about Gloria, because Gloria, I missed this question from her, and she was talking about earlier about getting a buyer for her condo.
Yeah. Okay.
And having it legally.
Yeah. Let's not limit it to a buyer, but that's 99.9% of the time it's going to happen.
Okay.
So, Gloria, in your future,
yes,
you're on your couch. You're sitting on your couch in the future. You can do a lot of things this way. And you make the observation from your future, I just love the way that condo deal went down. I mean, it was so good for them. It was certainly good for me.
Yes.
And I had all that concern about it. You know what? When it was all done, it was just magical. I just love it. I'm so grateful at how that thing went down. Holy cow. Now, my number one thing, and prioritize these things, make yourself a list or memorize them. I'm on my couch in my future, and in my future, I have perfect health. This is in the book. I have perfect health physically, mentally, spiritually, and I forgot one. Physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. I'm making this observation on the couch because I don't know how to visualize an absence of hospital rooms and stethoscopes and medical bills. I'm in my future, and I visualize that I have perfect health. I'm so grateful. Oh, my perfect partner just sat next to me. I'll pat her on the leg. I'm so very grateful. I'm not going to look at her.
Come on around them.
Yeah, I'm not going to limit that. Sometimes I'll cheat I come up behind her, and we're looking at the Eiffel Tower together. Now I'm
Oh,
working on the Paris trip too, right?
right, right.
So it's repetition, and it's in a movie. It's very simple, and you put gratitude in every movie. I'm so bright. I wrote the book, right? I have to run back to the other things. Oh yeah, I'm grateful for this, grateful for that. I forget the gratitude. One more thing. Every day, Judy gave me this information, very important. She can see the energies in the field around you. She can see it's being manifested. Every day, and I love the way she put it, before your feet touch the ground, before you get out of bed in the morning, think of 7 grateful things. What is
Love it.
that? I'm so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful for my friends. I'm so grateful for my gifts and my giftedness. I'm so grateful that I live well. I'm so grateful that my bills are paid. And you can go into the past. I'm so grateful for that wonderful relationship I had. It was the mountaintop. I'm so grateful for that trip I had. What happens, you're clearing the space around you energetically to allow these things to come in and they don't get tangled up with all this stuff. And I don't care who you are or where you are, if you're in Sing Sing or you're singing a song, you are worthy. You are worthy. And every second, in the next 10 seconds, you have the chance to be who you are. I don't care who you are now. In 6 seconds now, you have the opportunity to go forward and be who you want to be. And in
Woo!
2 seconds, you are who you want to be going forward now.
Love it.
And you get to restart that any time because we can't do that perfectly anyway. You can manifest this new future. And sometimes it happens fast, sometimes it takes a little longer, but you will see results peripherally, or you'll see the equivalent of, and you go, this thing is working. No, I didn't get the $10,000, but you know what? I saved a lot. I could have been in a car wreck 10 seconds ago, and that was easy $10,000.
Yeah, right, right.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah,
And no paperwork. Okay.
that's true. Been there, done that. You're absolutely right. How that 10,000 comes to you. So yes, I love how you put that. So folks, we are, of course, have had a wonderful time with Ken, and we are over time. So I'm going to wrap this up. Ken, I have to ask you, I've got to ask you one question, and I'm taking it off the topic of, well, or maybe not. But Ken, my question to you is, what would your ism be that you want people to know you for, to know you by? What would that ism?
Well, I'll take it from the Dalai Lama. My religion is kindness.
Okay.
My ism is kindness.
Nice.
So I'm kindism.
Kindism.
Yeah.
Hey, did we make up a new word? Kindism.
Kindism. Ism kindum.
Kindum.
Ism.
Maybe.
Ism. Kindum come something. I don't know.
Ismism.
Yeah. Kindo. I like Bondo. Kindness on.
All right. So, folks, I am going to encourage you. Please go get this book and let me know. First of all, I want you to let me know that you went to www.manifesting123.com. Let me know if you purchased Ken's book. I would love to know, for not to be nosy or anything like that, but to know that this show helped you get a new resource, or maybe make some new friends in the chat, or a new author or someone to connect with. Ken does have a Facebook page, Manifesting 123. Please make sure you go there tonight and like that page so you can stay up to date with Ken, because I just feel it, Ken, that lots of things are coming from you here in the very near future.
Yeah,
so lots of good things are coming, and we of course want to be a part of that. So we're all excited. Let's do it, folks. Let's manifest. And of course, folks, get out of your head and stop playing small. Think grand, right? Think grand when you're manifesting. Any last words for you, Ken?
Yes, this is not my book.
Okay.
This was given to me. It was taught to me. I had years of experience on this thing. I'm giving it to you. You know, you can go up, you have everything you need right now from this interview. You can go listen to more interviews. I give it away for free. I'm not going to go over there and get slapped around over $14.95, but there is more on the books. Absolutely. My wish for you is for you to point yourself to happiness and be good to yourself. You have everything you need to create the change you want in your life.
Absolutely. And folks, we talked about giving away 2 books tonight. We are going to do that. And I am going to randomly pick from the people who are in this chat from tonight. So I will do that, and then I will get in contact with Ken as to who won the 2 books. We're giving away 2 books complimentary of Ken Elliott, and I'm very grateful to you, Ken, for doing that for us tonight, giving away the free gift. So thank you, thank you. I know we could sit here a little bit longer with Kim, but I'm going to let him get back to whatever you're doing out there in Colorado, and I'm going to get back to the things here in Arizona. Just so you know, folks, we are here every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we are here 10 p.m. of course Eastern time. So please visit with us on Tuesday nights. Now, my next guest coming up, his name is Quan Cherry. Quan is going to talk to us about astrology. So lots of amazing guests coming up. I've got folks already booked up, lined up. So please stay tuned. Make sure you like the Peace, Love, Joy, and Bliss coaching. Also check out the group page, The Transformation Show, the Peace, Love, Joy, and Bliss Transformation Show. Make sure you like that as well. Folks, we're going to say goodnight. And of course, thank you. I am wishing you peace, love, joy, and bliss.
Congratulations on your first show.